When you import a package in Elm, you're not importing something from NPM or from some type of JavaScript-based package ecosystem. Elm has its own package ecosystem, and in this video, we're going to take a look at the Elm JSON file, figure out how to install new packages, and figure out what's going on here. So let's dive in. So this is the main.elm file we left off with in the last video. And when we ran Elm init, we created this elm.json file, but we didn't take a look at what's going on here. So I'm just going to walk you through what each of these properties are and what they mean. So at a high level, the Elm JSON file is a lot like a package JSON file that you might get if you ran npm init, creating a new front end or back end JavaScript project. So here we're just saying that we're making an application. In Elm, you can make your own package to contribute to the package ecosystem. That would have type package rather than the type application. So this is just kind of telling Elm that this is a thing we're intending to compile to HTML or JavaScript and run in the browser. Source directories is an important one. Source directories tells Elm where to look for your code. The convention is to use source, but some frameworks will add more things here. So for example, the Elmland framework has its own source directory. So if you look at the Elm JSON that gets generated when you create that, you'll see .elmland source. And all this means is when we make modules and we name them, the modules have to match the name relative to that source directory. So for example, because I have components header.elm, I need my module to be components.header. If I change the name of this folder, Elm would expect that the name of this changes to match. So if I changed components to UI, I'd have to rename this to module UI.header rather than components.header. So hopefully that makes sense. We're not going to add any new source directories for this tutorial. Elm version is the version of Elm that we're running. So the latest version is 0.19.1, at least at the time of recording. And then we have this dependencies section. There's two kinds of dependencies in Elm. These are the dependencies that come directly when we create a new project. And direct dependencies are packages that we're able to import in our program. Indirect dependencies are dependencies that are needed by these packages. For example, elm.json has a json.decode and a json.encode module. We can't import those. If we try to do that here, that's not going to work. So if I ran this, it would be upset. And that's because the JSON is not directly available for this program. It's indirectly used by HTML and maybe browser also. So these are packages that one of these three depend on. And then when we get into testing at the end of the series, we'll see the test dependencies get updated. And it's the same idea. We're going to have a tests folder alongside source, and that's going to allow us to import things in the test context that we might not have access to in our application. So we'll take a look at that again in a little bit. So that is elm.json. How do we update this to install some new dependencies? Well, the way we can do that, let me make myself a little bit smaller here, is we can use the elm install command. So I'm just going to run this and let the command speak for itself a little bit. So here we go. So when you run elm install, you're going to just run the user / the package that they wrote. And so the way you can find out what packages are available is you can go to package.elmling.org. And this is a full registry of all the packages that are available in the Elm ecosystem. So we saw Elm browser, Elm core and Elm HTML were already installed here. So let's install a new one that we're going to use in the next video. Let's install elm/time. So all these ones that are elm/, these are created by the official Elm organization. But as you can see, there's plenty of other packages out here. So I have some packages in here. What do I have? So I've got one for formatting dates and one for an old framework that I created, and then one for working with GraphQL, JSON, like responses, HTTP and stuff. So yeah, let's install Elm time and see how it goes. Elm install elm/time. So this is going to go check for that package, and it's going to add it to our direct dependencies, and it says it's going to move it from here. And so when we do that, you'll see that Elm time got moved for us. And now if we wanted to import time, we have access to that. So time is going to be installed for us here. And then because we're using the Elmland extension here, we're going to be able to see all the docs and things that are available offline. So let me show you. This is also in the browser. So I'm going to search for time. Whenever you're curious about how a package works, you can go to package.elm-lang.org and you can see the modules. You can search for things. How do I get the current time? Stuff like that. We're going to be using the every function in the next section. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Elm Packages, it's its own thing. There's some stuff that people are excited about when they use Elm Packages. Everything is a pure function, which means that there's going to be no like shady malware. You know, when you install a package, it can't like, you know, steal your credit card or, you know, scan your file system or anything crazy. It's just functions that take an input, return output. There's also like semantic versioning that's automatically enforced with the type system, which is kind of cool. So if someone breaks an API before they publish, the Elm compiler will be like, hey, you've got to go from version 1 to version 2 because people's code will break. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That is how packages work in Elm.